we got gameplay of Kong's Survival Instinct along with its official release date. A showcase of some sleek new kaiju figures like this. And at the end, we have information regarding the director of the next MonsterVerse film, Grant Spator's new project, and how it very well may give us insight as to what his take on Godzilla, Kong, and all the other titans could be in the MonsterVerse. So subscribe and turn on those notification bells, and let's get to this atomic news update. Kong's Survival Instinct will be releasing this October 22nd. And the developer, 7 Levels, along with IGN, gave us gameplay to go along with the release date announcement. So we've seen glimpses of some gameplay in the previously released official trailer, but this new one has around 1 minute's worth of gameplay, so let's quickly break it down. Starting off, we see the character David Martin staring in awe at the new Titan threat Abaddon. So the whole basis of the story for this game is that he's looking for his daughter, Stacy Martin, who has gone missing, and he has to deal with this Titan throughout the whole experience. As you can see, the game will be a side-scrolling platformer, which used to be the golden standard in gaming when I was a young kid. So these games will always have a place special in my heart, like deep down in there, even if I'm not that partial to them in modern times. But I could see that if you were born like post-2000 that you wouldn't really be all that interested in a side-scrolling game. But this particular format the Survival Instinct brings to the table resembles a style similar to some of the best old side-scrolling games, like the Metroid series, with multiple levels of platforms and paths you have to traverse. Now in this bit of gameplay, David here is having to hustle to make sure he doesn't end up being Titan fecal matter. And we get to see Abaddon in action for the first time, and boy is she a hostile girl. Now I do really appreciate the subtle movements of the Titan that the animators have added in here. Just take a look at those mandible things bouncing around. And overall, for what the game is, at least the monster looks good. It looks highly detailed, I think. The human character along with the environments may not be the best looking I've ever seen, but I think it does good enough. Thanks to David's quick feet and athleticism, he manages to escape Abaddon's attack, but then we see him encounter another monster, a raccoon-sized bug-like creature that David calls a Weaver. And this thing looks pretty dangerous, but with a well-placed sledgehammer strike, the Uber Spider goes down. I'm sure this is one of the game's easiest and least threatening monsters, but it does show that there will be a variety of obstacles to overcome beyond the just big giant kaiju, just like we've seen him fighting some humans in the previous trailer. David then continues to flee from Abaddon with the Titan now back on his heels. I really wonder why this massive creature is so obsessed with wanting to kill one tiny human. Something we never really see the Titans in the MonsterVerse really do, except for the times the Orca device was used. We already know the game will feature a variant of the Titan translator walkie-talkie that we even see David messing with in the game's previously released official trailer, so this is likely the reason why Abaddon is so persistent in her attack on demand. He must have used the thing to antagonize her. And then the gameplay ends with David managing to escape, at least for now. And we get to see the release date for the game, October 22nd. Now look, I get it. We all want more than a side-scrolling monster game. It baffles me to this day why no one has tried to give another destroy all monsters-like fighting game a modern go. Especially with all the money from the MonsterVerse and Godzilla -1 coming in lately. But this is the first time in the MonsterVerse that they have given us a true in-universe story in the form of a video game. And thankfully, it's a true game, not some ridiculous mobile game that no one's asking for. So I'm not majorly stoked or anything for Kong's Survival Instinct, but I'm intrigued, and I take that as a win for this small indie developer, 7 Levels. I'm definitely looking forward to play it. Let me know if you are down in the comments. If this game is halfway decent and doesn't just flop, it may lead to more opportunities in the video game world, so fingers crossed everyone. If the game's good, we're gonna talk about it. If the game's bad, we're gonna talk about it. So stay tuned everyone. Now let's hand this thing over to Al.
I'll take it from here, old chap. This here's my territory. Let's talk about toys. I like toys, as you can see here, and we have a few new ones to talk about today. Revealed at the Shanghai Wonderfest 2024, we have a bunch of new higher figures that'll surely please some of us collector freaks. The bad news is, our wallets are gonna cry. The footage comes from the wonderful Ned Chang, so big props to him. And first in this line of figures, we have Mecha King Ghidorah, a new one to this line of higher collectibles, and it looks like a big one. Obviously it's unpainted, but you can get a pretty good idea on what it's going to look like based on these images. Right next to Ghidorah we have the upcoming GMK Godzilla, which just looks so good. Easily the best he's ever looked, so can't wait to pick this up. Of course I know a lot of people are excited about this Godzilla 2000 figure, which yes, I am too. It looks amazing. We haven't really had a figure like this ever before, so I'm looking forward to picking this one up. Next up we have the first look at Kong with his Beast Glove, and while the majority of that sculpt seems to be the same as the uninjured Kong, it still looks perfect, and that glove just looks so awesome on him. The details are just insane here. And right next to him we have Shimo T-posing as an absolute power move right there. Just to show the absolute insane size of this thing, I definitely have to figure out how to make space for this monstrosity. And finally we have two Godzillas here. One is the evolved figure we've already seen, which looks real nice, and the other is another evolved figure that's unpainted that looks a little different. Some say it's the unpainted Spiral Ray figure, though I'm not sure why the sculpt will be different for that, so it could just be the prototype, or some slightly more expensive variant that has a little more detail and a little more articulation. We'll have to wait and see more about that. Speaking about toys, if you like them, we have our own Dangerville toy releasing. This fella right here is Primatus Rex, and you can sign up to receive info on how to pre-order in the description down below. Look at him, look at those little murder eyes. Oh, so cute. But that's all we've got in regards to toys. Now back to Jacob, you handsome devil.
My turn again, get out of here. So let's start talking about the MonsterVerse. The unknowns about Grant Spator after the announcement of his hiring as director of the next MonsterVerse movie has got fans wondering about what to expect in this next film. While we still don't know his plan for the MonsterVerse just yet, we can now get a glimpse into his vision of a good kaiju storytelling experience, which may help everyone sort of understand where he may bring the MonsterVerse. So he's co-writing a new graphic novel called Behemoth, releasing January 15th of next year, and here's what we have for the synopsis of Behemoth so far. When a giant monster attacks a city and swallows a bus full of civilians, one woman must fight for her life. Trapped inside the enormous beast, Sarah and her fellow bus passengers soon find out they're not alone. But what dangers lie within the belly of this beast? And who, or what, will they have to contend with in order to survive? In an interview, Grant had this to say about the new Behemoth project. Being a lifelong kaiju fan, I quite frequently find myself imagining giant monsters rampaging through whatever city I happen to be in. Enjoying one such vision back in 2022, I found myself struck by a thought. How have we had 70 years of giant monster movies, but no one's ever told the story of the poor souls trapped inside a subway car as it's devoured by a kaiju? From that moment, I've been on a long journey to bring this David versus Goliath story to life. With the help of Ryan and Jay's boundless genius. Quick side note, these are the other people helping him on the project. Grant continued with, most recently I've been invited to play in Legendary's MonsterVerse, which is clearly a dream come true for a kaiju fan like me. But for those interested, my first foray into the world of kaiju storytelling can be found within the wild pages of Behemoth. So all of this doesn't mean that we're going to get a one-way trip into Godzilla's stomach in the next MonsterVerse film by any means. But this is clearly showing us that Grant thinks outside of the box, and that he may actually have a more frightening take on the universe inbound. Of course, if Legendary and Toho allow him and he chooses to do so in the first place. It also shows that Grant wants to make a survival story, which has me excited in particular. Something where the human characters actually have a high-stakes undertaking that they must succeed in or else they will lose their lives, kinda like Godzilla -1. Can you imagine the thoughts and emotions people would be feeling if they were trapped in a vehicle as it was slowly consumed and forced down this giant monster's insides? It's truly incomprehensible, and I really hope that this style of kaiju storytelling is brought over to Grant's take on the MonsterVerse in some form. If this twisted scenario is actually in his mind, who knows what he could be dreaming up with his hands on the MonsterVerse. So everyone, let us know if we should get a copy of Behemoth when it comes out this upcoming January 15th, and if we should make content on it. And that's it for this roundup. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, this has been Jacob. Feel free to share the video around. Let's get everyone excited for the kaiju again.